the point of that is to try to restore brain to body communication. If you have misalignment in this area, it affects how your brain can talk to the rest of your body. Okay, and so some of the stuff that I see, you know, something that's fun for me. Somebody will come in and say my neck hurts. Okay, and then you go through history and you find out, well, I'm constipated, or I have heartburn, or have IBS, or I get migraines, or all this stuff, and that's fun because you can go through those things, and there is no neck pain correction. It's I'm looking for interference to the nervous system. Period. It doesn't matter what somebody's coming in with necessarily. If they have interference to that nervous system and objectively they fit those indicators, I know that there's pressure on that brainstem that can be affecting their health. Period. So once we do some evaluation where we will go through, look at posture, measure the leg length, I'll get in there and feel. And so once the bones move out of place, it's going to pull on those muscles that are attached to the bones. And I can scan the neck, can feel the spine. And a lot of people say, I didn't even know that was there. Or maybe they really knew it was there. But I've got a knack for finding that stuff anyway. I can do it all day. So when you find those spots, you know that those are areas where you've got muscles that are contracting on one side, that are stretched on the other side. There's imbalance there, or asymmetry, that again is affecting how your brain can communicate with your body. So once we go through those things in my office, then I'm going to use a computer. And this computer, it's not what I think or what they say. It's a really good objective tool where I can scan their spine. And there's some different pieces to it. There's a piece that's thermography. It's looking at temperature differences. It can tell you a lot about what's going on with your muscles, what type of imbalance is there, tell you what's going on with your nerves. And something that, well, something too that's important, that people that come in, they come in thinking, I hurt, right? They're in pain. And that's great. That's how most people come through the door. But then I'm passionate about educating people to know there's more than just pain. It's not we don't have a pain model office. That if you look at what makes up all of a nerve, about 10% of it actually has anything to do with pain. That other 90%, you can't say, ow, I hurt, if there's pressure, or people say pinching or impingement, irritation. You're not going to know that by pain, but you will get other symptoms. You've got a motor part of the nerve that it goes from the brain, and that part goes to every muscle and controls every muscle in the body. So you don't need pinching on that. That will affect your health. So you'll see tightness, weakness, things like that. That'll show up. There's an autonomic part of the nerve that controls every blood vessel, every organ, every gland in your body. That's really important stuff. That can talk about sinuses, digestive stuff, breathing stuff. And the computer can scan that objectively, and we can have a nice printout. And so initially you can get a good baseline of that. It helps you stay accountable to know that people are progressing, and then down the road you can see the changes that you've made. So that's fun to do. If you get all that information together, then confidently I can say that misalignment's present, and basically it's just screaming, take a picture of me and fix me. And so we take those pictures to be specific. There's some pictures that if you just went to your general doc, more than likely you're not going to see them. They're just specialized films where you kind of have a specialized setup of x-ray to take. And then once we get those films, and I study them really closely, and then I'll show the person that comes in and say, here's what looks good, here's what concerns me, and step through that and allow them to ask any questions. So part of that is there's 3 films, and I'll even show here. This is something that I'll kind of step through with folks, and they're seeing a film that actually shows the top bone in the neck, okay? And when I'm talking about looking where there's pressure, I'm talking about where the brain comes through that top couple of bones in the neck, and at that level, the bone has a very strong attachment to the brainstem. Okay, and remember, every nerve that goes everywhere in your body goes through here. So it's really important to know that this is in line, you know, and every degree matters. So that bone, the atlas bone, is connected to that brainstem through a ligament. So any kind of twisting, tilting, pulling whatsoever is going to pull on that ligament, and then it's going to torque that brainstem, right? And so then depending on which nerves are affected will tell you which type of symptoms that you'll exhibit, okay? Also, I'll show you, if you can see on the sides here, you see these holes in the bone? Anybody know what goes through there? The main blood supply to your brain. It's kind of important, right? Your vertebral artery. So, the same thing, if you get any twisting, pulling, torque through there, you can pinch that vertebral artery. And some symptoms that I'll hear people say a lot when we've got this going on: I can't focus, I can't concentrate, memory, dizzy, balance, headaches. Boy, I'm usually going to find something going on there. Okay, so people will walk in the door and they look like this, kind of like that chart, and then they start to see as well that they fit. You know, there's there's an explanation too. You know, where you'll see the posture being off. You'll see how the muscles are pulling on one side or the other. You'll find that short leg, and then you've recorded that misalignment as well to know exactly how to put it back, how it goes. So what that looks like then is you lay on your side, you've got your head on a headpiece, and it's very underwhelming. You know, some people have, you're there for 2.5 hours the first day because we spend so much time evaluating, and the correction lasts about that long. And you're laying there, and it's always kind of fun because the people go, you know, okay, now what? You know, and so I use my hands to do it. That's how I'm basically creating a mechanism with my body to apply a very specific effort into the neck that's actually really light. It's very light. And so I'll also tell them after the first correction, I'll say, you will possibly be sore, like you went to the gym kind of sore, and usually people will laugh. Because they think,
because you've hardly done anything, they think.
That's right. But the cool part is, when you get them up, you're going to have people mentally know what they look like. We've got mirrors that have all these lines that show, and when they see their postures like this, they may or may not know it until I point it out. And we'll record that. We'll feel. You remember all those knots? Remember that, you know, all that tenderness? Remember all that stuff? Yeah. Sometimes I'll keep my phone in my pocket and I'll take a picture of that short leg and say, you know, that leg's 1/2 inch short on that right side. And so as soon as you make a correction, you'll bring somebody up and start to feel, thank you, you'll start to feel the neck. You'll look at the posture, because the way this work is, you're going to see changes that quick. Now, they may not last, or they're not going to last necessarily, and that's based on everybody's got their stuff, you know, everybody's got their history. I do. And so that depends, you know, that depends on how your body heals. But I don't know of another way of caring, of using a procedure that gets more to the underlying cause of things versus treating symptoms.